Now remember this Chinese brand name Chery from quite some time ago? Well, they're back in Singapore, but this time they're back with something bigger and better and bolder than ever before. They're back with this, the Omoda E5. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of all our future uploads. Now you might remember Chery for their models like the J5 sedan or the QQ hatchback. But this, the Omoda E5, is clearly an entirely different kettle of fish compared to any of Chery's earlier offerings. And we'll start with the name, Omoda. Now according to Omoda's marketing speak, O stands for oxygen, as in the essence of life, which is what this car is trying to give to you. And then Moda, as in Omoda. No, I'm just kidding. Moda stands for modern, which is what this new brand from Chery Group is trying to push forward, and they've kind of made it work. Now neither the J5 sedan nor the QQ hatchback or any of Chery's other earlier offerings were exactly runway models. They weren't very stylish, but it's a very different story with the E5. Now you have the thin LED daytime running lights up top with the LED headlights on the side. Now all of this plays into this much more stylish and modern look that the Omoda brand is trying to push forward. Now it's much the same story along the side profile of the Omoda E5, and we'll start with the rims. 18 inches as standard, and they come in this aero disc-like, aerodynamically friendly design, which I think is quite sleek and it matches the look of the rest of the E5. Now you also get keyless entry, so I have the key in my pocket, and as you can see, the car will automatically unlock when you walk up to it or lock when you walk further away from it. Now, one other interesting thing I've noted is this carbon fiber look design. I'm very sure this is not actual carbon fiber. If I'm wrong about that, please tell me and I will correct it, but I'm quite sure this is just carbon fiber look trim on the bottom of the door that looks quite nice, but you do have to kind of look at it quite hard to notice it in the first place. But I do think it's a neat little touch. And as you can see, the whole shape of the E5 is sloped and tapered back towards the end here to give it that sporty SUV styling that is very popular nowadays in the car world. And now we come to the back of the Omoda E5, where you can see the continuation of that tapered back sporty SUV styling. And we start with the rear wing, which as you can see has a hole inside it, so you can let all that air flow through for better aerodynamics, lower drag, and of course better range, because this is a fully electric SUV. Now you also have the tiny little spoiler down here, which I don't know if it's functional, but it is quite cute and a neat little touch as well. Now you also have what looks to be a rear light bar, but this doesn't actually light up. The lights are back here on the side, third brake light up there, and your fog lamps down there. Now, as always, at the back of any of these cars, I have to tell you about the boot space. And in this, the fully electric tailgate will open like so. And this has 380 litres of space according to Omoda. Now you can lower the center row to get a little bit more space through, but nobody knows how much 380 litres is. So as always, I will do my scientific method and see whether or not this boot is big enough to fit me. And as you can see, it's not the most spacious, but you can very easily put myself back here, and you could even close the boot lid if you wanted to. So here we are in the back seats of the Omoda E5, and by and large, it's very comfortable. There is a mostly flat floor for easy sitting in the middle seat, or you can, just do the hokey pokey with your legs and it's totally fine. You also have decent enough leg room. It's not a whole lot of space for your knees, but this seat is pushed quite far back. And because of the tapered roofline, there is enough headroom. It's not an exorbitant amount, but there is enough headroom even for taller individuals like myself. Now you also get useful amenities such as your seat back pockets on both sides. You have your single air vent in the middle. You have a Type A USB port, a Type C USB port, and cup holder / armrest. So now here we are in the driver's seat of the Omoda E5. It doesn't just have keyless entry. The E5 also has keyless start. So all you have to do is sit on the chair, put your foot on the brake. As long as the key is with you, the whole car will into life. And then you can, of course, play around with all of the other stuff that the E5 has to offer, which there are many. We'll start with the screens right in front of you. You have your digital gauge cluster, which is really fairly quite large for a vehicle of this price point. You also have your fully digital infotainment system, which is running the Qualcomm Snapdragon something or other CPU, which is reportedly one of the best in the business. And in my time using it, I haven't seen any lag to speak of. Now, I said it has a lot of cool features, and I wasn't lying. We'll start with this, the wireless charging pad. Not only is it a 50-watt wireless charger, which means it's, I believe, the fastest in the business at the moment, it also has a little vent that blows cool air onto the back of your phone to keep it cool while it is wireless charging, which is such a fantastic idea. And then you have your cup holders, you've got some of your car controls in the middle here, you've got a little cubby area as well as a larger center cubby. Now this one has a vent that can blow cool air into this center compartment to keep your drinks or whatever you have inside here cool. Now it's not a full-blown fridge like in some other cars on sale, but it is better than nothing. Now you also have your multi-function steering wheel, which what looks like touch-sensitive buttons, but thankfully they're not. They're actual physical buttons that just kind of look like they're touch-sensitive, which is honestly preferred because in these, with the physical buttons, you can't accidentally set them off when you're just driving around normally. Then you have your Mercedes-style gear lever. You just pull it down or push it up for drive and reverse, and then you push it in for park, which I think is a neat touch and one of the nicer gear lever solutions I've seen nowadays in all these electric cars. And as a little humorous touch, I don't think they meant it that way, but it's quite funny to me. There is a little picture on the passenger dashboard right in front here that has Chery written on it. Chery is the Chinese word for car, in case you forget what you're sitting in, I guess. And speaking of what you're sitting in, these seats are very comfortable. They are eco leather seats, and they go well with all the other nice feeling and nice looking materials in the E5. And as an added benefit, these seats are not just electric, but they are ventilated as well.
So here we are driving the all-new Omoda E5. Now this is actually now the Category B COE version for the Omoda E5, and I say that because there is now actually a Cat A COE variant that they've just launched. So this Cat B version comes with a 61 kilowatt-hour battery mated to a single electric motor on the front axle to produce 150 kilowatts of power, which in normal people terms is about 201 brake horsepower. Now, but of course, for an electric car, the more prominent figure, of course, is the torque number, of which this makes 340 Newton meters, and that's enough to get this family SUV from 0 to 100 in just 7.6 seconds, which really is quite respectable. Now, one of the most important features I believe a car should have, especially for a premium offering, is adaptive cruise control. Because traffic in Singapore is bad. Why would I want to drive myself through a traffic jam when the car can do it for me? And thankfully, the Omoda E5 can do it for me because the Omoda E5 has adaptive cruise control with the all-important lane centering and lane keep assist. So let's say I'm driving to work on the CTE in the morning, it's rush hour, it's heavy traffic as per usual. All I have to do is press the adaptive cruise control button and it will keep me a safe distance from the car in front, as well as nicely centered in my lane. Now, the Omoda E5 also gives me one less thing to worry about, not just because of traffic, not just because I don't have to drive myself in traffic, but also because it's a lot safer than the Chery offerings of the past. And apart from stuff like safety and not having to drive myself in a traffic jam, the Omoda E5 just generally doesn't give you much to stress about because it is an easy drive. Maybe that's what the E stands for, other than, of course, electric. The suspension is pliable, it's comfortable, it's not going to shake. It's not going to shake. Your baby's around, and it's just a calm, easy drive. It's quiet in the cabin, which means you can listen to your music on the Sony sound system, which sounds really good, by the way. And you don't even have to worry much about the range because this has a claim range of 430 kilometers on a full charge, which in Singapore is enough for a week's worth of driving, maybe 5 days if you're a heavy user. And even when you do eventually run out of juice, you can charge it, fast charge it on a DC charger at up to 80 kilowatts. Now, I know that's not the fastest charging out there, but especially in Singapore, you're not going to need that much speed, and 80 kilowatts of fast charging is more than enough to get you back on the road with enough juice in no time at all.
Now, the Omoda E5 might cost a smidge more than its competitors, but I think at the price point it's at, I think it's still pretty good value, especially considering the wave of useful features it has, and especially with how good it looks. I think it might take a little while for consumers to reassociate the Chery nameplate with that of quality and premiumness, but I think by bringing in the Omoda E5 as their first car back, I think they've set themselves on the right path. As always, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.
Motorist